welcome, Courtney and Sara.
Hello.
Hi, thanks
So
for having us.
Polish Made Pretty is a team of hairstylists and makeup artists who specifically specialize in weddings and events. Courtney, your specialty as a certified airbrush artist makes you one of the few experts in this field in the area, along with your hairstyling team led by the dynamic Sara Docherty. This group of beauty professionals will travel to your place for wedding day prep, or you can book their studio. Their attention to detail ensures your wedding day beauty style will be timeless and flawless, as well as perfectly suited to you. So welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, and I want to mention that we're not only going to talk about bride's beauty prep today, but a groom's grooming before the wedding. So let's start with Courtney, and tell me, Courtney, why did you see a need for the service? I want to say we met 2-3 years ago now. How long has it been?
I think it's been 3 years.
3 years. That's when you started in the wedding show. And why did you see a need for this type of service in the wedding industry?
I began my business 5 years ago after having worked alongside some other wonderful artists in the city. I really wanted to be my own boss, and I loved working with brides for their wedding day. I really had no idea how far I would go with this business, and I'm so proud to say that I've been able to build a team of 4 amazing artists who love working alongside of me, and they absolutely love working with weddings. I really felt I wanted to simplify the booking process for that experience for each bride. And this is why I do all of my bookings digitally. I also really wanted to ensure that brides would have the opportunity to discuss with me their vision for their beauty look, which is why we have multiple packages that include the trial appointments.
So tell us, you have 2 options, which I spoke about in the introduction. One is the on-site service and one is your studio service. Can you tell us the difference between the 2 of those?
Yes. So in all of our brides packages, we do include on-site services. So this is included in the cost of the brides package. What this means is that our team of artists will come to any location in Windsor, Essex to provide hair and makeup services for the entire bridal party. The most common locations that we tend to work in is hotels and family homes. We also have a private studio, which is where I'm at right now. It is located inside the Business Accelerator, and all of our trial appointments for hair and makeup will take place at the studio. However, if a bride did want to book her wedding day at the studio, we can discuss that possibility during the booking process.
And the Business Accelerator Center is very convenient located on Howard Avenue in the old Seal Test building between Giles and Tecumseh Road. And we actually did our photo shoot there. It's a unique building. We did our photo shoot there last year for the Wedding Extravaganza 20 promotion. And you were the makeup artist for that shoot.
Yes, I was.
So beauty prep begins months before the wedding. What are the top 3 things that both the bride and groom can do ahead to prepare their skin and to look their best on their wedding day?
So there are a few things that you can do in advance to prep your skin for the wedding. The most important, I would say, is to use a good skincare routine. You should be using a cleanser and moisturizer every single day, preferably morning and night. Our gold and diamond bridal package does include a mini skincare set to get our brides started on a valuable skincare routine. We can also offer the grooms a skincare set for an additional fee. And something to remember is that it does take approximately 12 weeks of consistent use for a person's skin to adjust to the new routine and to begin to see the benefits that that skincare can offer. The second task that I would suggest is to start drinking 8 glasses of water each day. I know this is something that we hear for weight loss all the time, but it is also very beneficial for your skin. Drinking water can help flush the toxins from your body, and this will assist in helping to clear up your skin and create a radiant glow. Our bodies are mostly made up of water, and we need to continuously replenish that water as we move throughout the day if we want to maintain clean and clear skin. My final task is to get your eyebrows waxed or threaded. This suggestion is not only for our brides, it's also for the bridesmaids and family members who are getting their makeup done. Your eyebrows and lashes are the frame for your eyes. And when your eyebrows are cleanly and neatly shaped, it really allows for a better eye makeup application. If they're not done, it will be obvious and the eye makeup may not set properly. We do offer a brow waxing service for the bride in our diamond package, and bridesmaids can book a brow service with us using our online booking calendar. We also are brow specialists, and we can offer a henna brow service for those who need to fill in sparse brows.
You know, when you talk brows, it brings me back to the days that I was the fashion stylist for Devonshire Mall. And we produced a look magazine. And we had a makeup artist come in through the 2.5 weeks of doing the photo shoots. And her emphasis on eyebrows as each model walked in has stuck in my mind forever, because she used to say, if one eyebrow is off, or it sets off your, the look of your makeup will be ruined. She was very particular about that eyebrow. So
Yes,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
yeah, and all makeup artists will probably say the same thing. That's the first thing that we work on is your eyebrows.
So Sarah, I'm going to ask you the same question. What 3 things would you advise both the bride and groom to take care of ahead of their wedding day in regards to their hair and ensuring that it looks its best?
So number one, I would highly recommend you start using a heat protector or a hair mask. It's super important. We have to remember that we are applying 450 degrees or 350 degrees heat, like from a straightener or curling iron to our hair. It's like cooking a turkey in the oven. We have to really take care of our hair and our locks that way by, applying the heat protector. Number two, I would highly recommend the brides to get a haircut at least a month before your wedding. I know we all want the long hair. However, we really need to make sure that our ends are nice and clean. For the men, I do recommend you getting a haircut at least 2 weeks before your wedding, and then the day before or 2 days before, going to the barber and getting a nice clean neckline shave. Also for the brides, I do recommend you getting your color done at least a month before your wedding. That way it does give your color stylist time to, fix anything that needs to be fixed, especially for the blondes.
This is a favorite question of mine when I'm with my girlfriends. You're on a desert island and you're stuck there, Courtney. What one skincare product would you have to have?
Well, that's my skincare set. I absolutely have to have my skincare with me. It's the one thing that helps keep my skin nice and clean and clear, and it keeps my aging away.
And Sarah, as a hairstylist, is there any one product you would have to have?
I would have to have my anti-frizz. My hair gets very frizzy.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit. We often hear the term flawless when we relate it to beauty. Often see comments on Instagram and Facebook about looking flawless. Tell us what makes for a flawless hairstyle, Sarah, in wedding photos.
Volume, definitely getting some volume in the hair. I would also recommend, of course, the haircuts. That way we have fresh ends, especially if you are going to wear your hair down for your wedding. It will look clean. If you have bangs, having a nice fresh cut as well for the bangs. Yeah, and just finding a hairstyle that really suits you, your personality.
Sarah, hair comes in many different types, as you mentioned. Some of us have hair that curls very well, but when we're faced with the least amount of humidity, which our summers have a lot of around here, our hair goes poker straight. While others of us have curlier hair, when we try to straighten it for an occasion, we hit the humidity and we have nothing but frizz. How can we avoid this on the big day?
Yeah, so for my brides who do have the frizzy hair, I myself get frizzy hair. My hair is naturally curly. I always use an anti-frizz, no matter what, because when you do go outside, yeah, your hair is curly, but it will get that frizz. So anti-frizz is definitely important. For the brides who have the super straight hair and want to go curly, that's no problem. I could do your hair at 8 a.m. By 8 p.m., your curls are going to still stay in place, because what I do is I actually will curl your hair, pin it so it sets the curl in stone and cools off. When I take out the pin, it's nice, it's curly, and it stays.
Courtney, tell me the difference between traditional makeup application and the airbrushing process.
So traditional makeup application is applied using brushes and sponges, whereas airbrush makeup is applied using an airbrush gun and a compressor. This is actually what our airbrush gun looks like. And so when traditional makeup is applied, you get a nice finish, but depending on the brand and the application process, it can look and feel heavy and cakey, and that is visible in photos. So unless your photographer is able to retouch them, but remember, your photographer can only do so much, and that's not going to take away that appearance in person. So the other thing to consider about traditional makeup application is it also takes longer to apply this way. And that could mean that it takes longer for each person in your bridal party to be completed. We do not actually offer traditional makeup applications in our packages. So if a bride wants it, they will need to supply their own foundation, and we can help them choose the right shade and brand. We do have a brand that can be purchased from us, and we know that that will feel and look great on any skin type. The other question you asked was, what is about airbrush makeup artists? So in our bridal services, this is for the entire bridal party. I'm a certified full face airbrush makeup artist, and I can do your entire makeup with airbrush. So your eyes, your brows, your foundation, your cheek, your highlight, even your lips can be done with airbrush. This service is offered in our diamond package. And the advantage to this is that your full face will have a beautifully smooth makeup application, and it's 85% contact free. You can see images of this on my service on my social media portfolio. And the other option is only Airbrush Foundation. And all of our artists are certified in Airbrush Foundation services. We can also offer tattoo cover with airbrush. And this will make your tattoo completely disappear, and it's waterproof and totally transfer resistant.
So I'm going to mention, when you mentioned that you're on Instagram, you are very, very active on social media. I say you're one of the social media queens when it comes to vendors, which I love because this is what girls are looking for. So I know when weddings started up into phase 3 this past year, you started posting lots of weddings. So girls can go on your Instagram page and see the work that you do.
Yeah.
But back to skin tone, Sara. Our skin tones come in ranges from very dark black to very, very fair.
Yes.
Can you accommodate every color skin tone with airbrushing?
Yes, absolutely, I can. So our airbrush foundation comes in a multitude of colors, but the advantage of that is that because I am pouring the foundation into this little spout right here, I'm able to mix different colors in order to find the exact foundation color that matches anyone's skin tone. So whether you are very fair, light, ivory skin tone, or whether you are a very dark, say chocolate skin tone, I can still match your skin and it will look flawless on your face, and it still gives you the full coverage that you would want in a foundation.
And how about men? Can men, do you suggest some makeup, some powder for men? I know, once again, going back to that very humid weather we can have, there's nothing worse than spending a lot of money for your wedding photos and the groom being sweaty, shiny, oily in pictures. So what do you suggest for men?
So first, I'm going to suggest that they make sure that they're using an appropriate skincare routine for themselves. They still have to use a cleanser and a moisturizer. And then in addition to that, they can use an oil mattifier on their skin and a little bit of translucent powder. And that will help to mattify any oiliness and help keep the sweat down. They can use airbrush foundation on their face. However, they do need to make sure that they are fully shaved, and they may need to get their face waxed in order to make sure that that foundation will show up on the little hairs. So if they have any of those, that might not be the best option, and instead they could just use the translucent powder.
Okay, note to everyone out there, make sure that either your wedding planner, your bridesmaid, someone has a translucent powder just for touch-ups as needed, although you don't need powder on the airbrushing, correct?
No, you do not need any touch-ups of powder or anything on the airbrush. If I was to put like a setting spray on it or a powder, I'd really just be doing it just because it makes you feel good. It's really doesn't, it's not necessary.
Okay. We all look back at wedding pictures and laugh at some of the styles we see, whether it be our aunts, our moms, our sisters. But there are classic wedding photos like Jackie Kennedy and Audrey Hepburn, whose hairstyles in their wedding photos stand the test of time. Sara, what advice would you give to ensure that all brides joining us today have a classic hairstyle and that Audrey Hepburn classic look when they look back on their photos 30 years from now and their kids aren't laughing and making fun of them?
So my advice would be to always have a photo of what you would like your hair to look like the day of your wedding. And it's super important to book a trial 2 or 3 months before your wedding. Make sure you have that trial set in stone, just in case you need to change anything. That way, when you are looking back in 10 years at your wedding photos, you're happy with your look and that you think it looks very, very classic. Another thing is you have to think about booking with a someone who specializes in hair styling, updos and things like that for weddings compared to your regular stylist who specializes in color and cuts. That's something else important to think about.
Okay, I'm going to ask you two more quick questions, and then we have a lot of questions coming in. We have opened the chat, so if you haven't noticed, the chat is open. You can start asking questions. Beards. Beards are big.
Yes.
How should we direct our grooms online to take care and groom those beards leading up to their wedding?
I highly recommend the grooms to go get a beard trim 2 or 3 days before your wedding. Find a good barber, someone you trust to get that taken care of. I know when my husband and I got married 3 years ago, I made sure that he went and found a barber, got that cleaned up. You never know if they might cut you or something like that. That will show in wedding photos, and we don't want that. So it's super important to get nice and cleaned up a few days before. And if you do get cut, it has time to heal.
Okay, if you're a person that wears your hair down all the time, would you recommend an updo, like a tight updo that's completely opposite of how your guests are used to seeing you, or vice versa? If you wear your hair up all the time, should you wear it down on your wedding day? What's your opinion on that?
I definitely think the bride should go with something that she's comfortable with, something that will match her personality and her dress. I don't think that you should be too extra. I'm going to use that word on your wedding and just be more of yourself.
Oh, I love that advice. Okay, so our first question is from Sarah, and Sarah's asking, do you have to make packages? Do you have packages that are made for the entire wedding party, Courtney, for the maid of honor, bridesmaids, moms included, or it's that the bride can pay for everyone if she'd like to give them a treat?
So all of our bridal packages are made for the bride. And the reason that we don't have a bridal package that includes everyone is because we're actually mobile for just the bride. We can go to just her and service only her on that day, or she can add on as many people as she needs for her wedding party. So to have a bridal package for the entire bridal party, I mean, that could be 5 people, that could be 6 people, that could be 12 people. And that's why we don't do that. However, if the bride does want to pay for her entire bridal party, we do give them that option, and we will invoice the bride using our secure Square system. And we can also invoice the bridesmaids. So we leave that choice up to each person.
Okay, and Courtney, does airbrushing work on oily skin?
Absolutely, it does work on oily skin. So we actually have a prime and prep product that we would put onto your skin before we apply the airbrush, as well as an oil mattifier. And that will allow your oiliness to be toned down, and the airbrush will go on wonderfully.
Okay, and we have a question of what the average cost is to have a groom's hair and makeup done. So hair, we'll start with Sarah.
Hair would be $30 for a male.
Okay, and makeup for a groom?
So that would depend on what the groom needs. So if they just need an oil mattifier, that could start at $20. But if they're also in need of skincare and translucent powder, the price could go up a little bit more.
Okay. Tiffany is asking, do packages include a trial run?
Yes, absolutely, they do. So all of our gold and diamond bridal packages do include the trial, and it's usually booked at the studio 2 to 3 months before your wedding.
And I take it a lot of couples want trial runs for hair too, or brides especially.
Yes, yes, highly recommended.
Shelly is asking, do you suggest dermaplaning for better makeup application, and is it offered?
We don't do dermaplaning, but if it is something that you're interested in, I would suggest that you have it done a couple of months before your wedding, because it does take off a layer of the skin. You wouldn't want to have that done only a couple of days before your makeup is about to be done, because it could affect the results of your makeup.
Okay, and Adriana's asking, would you highly recommend a makeup artist for your wedding? So makeup artist, no makeup artist, DIY.
I would highly recommend a makeup artist for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, this is your big day. You should absolutely pamper yourself and take the treat and relax on that day and have somebody do these things for you. But also because it does show in photos whether or not you've had a professional artist do your makeup versus doing it yourself. So when you're spending all of that money to get your photos done, have a makeup artist who knows what she's doing, who knows how to do all of the brow shaping and all of the eye makeup application properly.
Treat yourself, girls. It's been a hard year.
Yes.
Someone's saying I might have to miss this, Jasmine, but how long before the wedding should you have your eyebrows waxed?
I would get your eyebrows waxed 2 weeks before the wedding, depending on how red your skin area can get. Otherwise, you can go 1 week before the wedding if you tend to not get really red skin.
Okay. And Tiffany is asking, how much time per person should I allow for hair and makeup?
For hair and makeup. So if you're getting your makeup done, it's approximately 30 to 45 minutes per person. And for hair, it's also 45 minutes per person. So, and that's how fast it takes us. Other artists might have different time frames. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind, that we can finish in an hour and a half, one person's hair and makeup.
Okay. How long ahead should I go get a facial at the spa? Diana is asking.
I think it would be okay to go get a facial 2 weeks before your wedding day to make your skin nice and fresh and glowing.
Okay. And Celia is asking, do you offer foundation that is not applied by airbrush in your packages?
The airbrush, the traditional foundation is not included in our packages because we do specialize in airbrush foundation and because of the results that offers you when you're being professionally photographed. So it really is in your best interest to have the airbrush foundation. However, if you do want a regular foundation, we do have a product that we can sell to you that we know is reliable and it's going to look great on any skin tone.
Okay, Crystal's asking, for men that are completely bald, do you suggest putting makeup on their head as well to reduce the shine?
If you wanted to do that, you could do an oil mattifier and some translucent powder, and that may help.
Okay. Erica is asking, what do you recommend for hair growth right now? I do hair pills and a collagen powder to help hair growth for my wedding. Sarah?
I highly recommend start taking biotin. You can buy it right at Shoppers Drug Mart. It does come in gummy forms. Yeah, just 2 a day, and it will help with your hair growth, and it also helps with your nails as well.
And hair growth only on the head or anywhere
Only
else?
on the head.
That's good, because then we have to take care of other issues.
No.
Okay. Diana's asking, what do you do for hair that goes both flat and frizzy? And what are your suggestions for extensions?
Extensions are definitely a good thing. I will apply them to your hair. They have to be real extensions. I cannot work with synthetic. Unfortunately, if I put a hot tool to it, it will burn. But extensions are good to have, especially if you want the extra length or the volume. You can do either or both.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions. We want to get through this. So we're going to go to our rapid fire, short, quick answers. Leslie's asking, how does airbrush look on large pores?
It looks fabulous on large pores. That's really not going to make much of a difference.
And Alexis is asking, I've been trying to decide whether to do my makeup or hire someone. I've done my makeup myself as a bridesmaid before. What are some of the issues that might happen on the wedding day if she does her own?
Well, I mean, timing, it's really going to affect her ability to be on time. She's going to be spending her time in the bathroom when she could be relaxing and having a professional do it. It's also going to be visible in the photos that you did your own makeup. And you may not have some of the professional products that we're able to offer you, like our high definition airbrush foundation.
Tiffany's asking, would a lip stain be suggested for the wedding day? And if not, do you provide a lipstick to reapply during the day?
So we actually use a long wearing lipstick. So unless you're going to lick your lips a lot throughout the day, it is going to stay on for quite a few hours. And then we do give you a little container that has some extra in it for you to touch up later if needed.
Awesome. Carly is asking, is there a hair mask that you recommend, Sarah?
I recommend any of the hair masks by Redken. If you go to Windsor Beauty, you can pick it up there. There are different hair masks for different hair types.
Perfect. And Kyra is asking, you mentioned it takes longer for totally airbrushed makeup. Approximately how long does it take if you want that whole face airbrushed?
So it could take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how dramatic you want your eye look to be. But it's still relatively fast in comparison to traditional makeup application.
And is it hard to get the airbrushing makeup off? That's
You
a
know what?
question from Janice.
You are going to have to wash your face twice, but that's not such a bad thing because you do want your makeup to last all day from early in the morning. I can do your makeup at 5 a.m. and it will still be on at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're still partying.
You can go to bed with it on and wake up looking fabulous the next
I've
day.
actually had, clients come in and tell me that, like, I'm going to go to sleep all nice and neat tomorrow.
So from Kelly, Sarah, what hairstyle do you recommend for a bride with super, super thick, long 28-inch straight hair?
That's really hard to say. I would have to get a feel for your hair and look at it. And then we would also have to take into consideration what your dress looks like and what your personality is like as well.
So Stephanie is saying that she really likes your makeup today, Courtney. It looks natural and you're glowing. Would you recommend that it's too light for photos on a wedding day?
Not necessarily. I mean, the key part for our service is that the Airbrush Foundation, because it is a HD quality product, it's still going to look great in photos. I do have clients who want more of a natural glowing style for their wedding makeup, and that's totally fine. And we can accommodate that, or we can accommodate something a little bit more dramatic.
And Leslie's saying, how far advanced would you recommend a trial?
2 to 3 months.
And how about you, Sarah?
2 to 3 months.
And how far in advance should they book their wedding date? Because there's only so many wedding dates in a year, and there's only so many of you in a day. So
Absolutely. And you know what? That's a really great question because we've had a lot of weddings from 2020 move into 2021. And so what I'm finding is we're actually starting to get very full very quick for 2021. And we do have limited dates left for this year. So I would normally, the scenario would be 6 months in advance, you would book your makeup and hair. But now with the changes that have happened, I'm going to suggest that you book it at least a year in advance. So we are starting to book 2022 right now, and we do have some dates left in 2021.
With freckles, Larissa is asking, would airbrush completely cover them?
Not if you don't want it to. If you wanted your freckles to be completely covered, I would have to do a color correction before I add your Airbrush Foundation. However, when I do the Airbrush Foundation, we will still see a little bit of your freckles. So if that's something you want to embrace, and I absolutely wholeheartedly think you should, we don't have to fully cover them.
Okay, and we're getting down to the last question here. The tattoo coverage, is that extra for someone to have their tattoo covered?
It is extra to have a tattoo covered. It's not included in our bridal packages because not everybody has one they need to cover. However, I do, and I can do anywhere between a very small little tattoo or a very large tattoo. And obviously there is going to be some time with that. It will be completely gone and it's transfer resistant and it's waterproof. It starts at $35 and goes up from there depending on that.
So you brides that have your old boyfriend's name on your body somewhere, Sarah's the girl to see. So before we bring up your contact information and give that to everyone on board with us today, I want to thank you. That was amazing. You got a lot of information out there, but I also want couples to know about our loyalty program because you are one of our loyalty vendors. And if you haven't checked that out at weddingshows.com, we're going to bring it up for you right now. And our loyalty program consists of couples who are getting married, and the guidelines are on the page. You can read through those. There's 3 quick guidelines. But when you're spending money with our loyalty vendors, Wedding Shows Windsor is going to give you a gift if you send us a copy of the receipts, and we can verify that with your vendors. So anyone that spends between $5,000 and $9,999 on our loyalty vendors will turn in the receipts, and we will in turn will send you one of our Wedding Extravaganza exclusively scented candle, which I have to tell you is delicious. We commissioned to get this scent made. We tested it out and everyone is loving it. So it's as easy as turning in your receipts to us from the loyalty vendors. Our next level is $10,000 to $19,999. And those couples that spend that much and turn in the receipts to us will get a set of wine glasses, boxed wine glasses that say we will wine, or we wine together. And our final one is if you spend $20,000 or more with a loyalty vendor, you'll get a charcuterie board. So if Connor scrolls down just a little bit more, we'll show you who the loyalty vendors are. But this is the charcuterie board right here. And it says wine and cheese is all you need. And these are all our loyalty vendors. And those we're adding to those. We'll be adding to those quite regularly moving through this year. So, and we'll send you more details on that too if you watch your emails. So that was a wonderful session. We have one more tomorrow. We're looking forward to wrapping up the week, and we're going to see you both online again tomorrow. At this point, we'll bring up your contact information, and we're going to remind everyone that this contact information is also going to be emailed out to you right after the workshop, and you'll be getting your final Zoom link tomorrow morning.